Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Mina. In this video, I'll be sharing with you how to put this beautiful dress together. If this is what you're interested in, please stick around. Let's dive straight into the video. I got 3.5 yards of this fabric from Belle, but it looks like a Mikado fabric. I also bought 1 yard of lining just to line the upper part of my dress. So I've gone ahead to transfer my pattern to fabric. So this part label A, I didn't include seam allowance to the armhole. I included seam allowance to the shoulder, to the keyhole, and to the side. I went ahead to cut 2 pieces for the part label A, and I also cut 2 pieces for my lining. For the pieces label B, I placed the fabric on fold. Then I went ahead to cut one of that and 1 piece of lining as well. For the upper part, I added ½ inch seam allowance to the side. I added ½ inch seam allowance to the down part, ½ inch, but I did not add any seam allowance to the center front. To the part label C, I cut 2 pieces of it. I also cut 2 pieces for my lining. I added seam allowance to the upper part, ½ inch, to that side ½ inch, to the down part ½ inch, but to this side I added 1.5 inch seam allowance to it. So you can see this part is the armhole. I didn't add seam allowance to it. You can see it tallies with this part. To the front skirt, I added ½ inch seam allowance to the upper part. To this side, I added 1 inch. Then to this down part, I added ½ inch seam allowance as well. But to the center front, I did not add any seam allowance. This is the back top. I added ½ inch seam allowance to the neckline. Then to the shoulder, I added ½ inch seam allowance as well. To the armhole, I didn't add any seam allowance. To the center back, I added ½ inch, to the down part ½ inch, and to this side I added 1 inch. Then for the back skirt, I added ½ inch for the upper part, 1 inch for the side, then ½ inch for the down part. Then I added ½ inch to the center back. So this is my wording. This wording is placed on fold, as you can see. The next thing is to place this part label B, which is the center front, on it. The down part must sit on my under bust line. You can see how I placed it, right? Then I'm going to start from the chest line down to the under bust line as shown. So I'll go ahead and trace how I placed my pieces. It's going to start from the chest line down to my underbust. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. And I'll cut this part straight. Remember, I'm following my chest line here. I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me. I will also do the same thing to the side front. I place my wording on fold. So I'll go ahead and place this one on it, the part label C. Then I'll go ahead and trace out how curvy I want this side to be. You can see I'm still following the chest line. Then I'll go ahead and trace this side out, and the wording is sitting on the underbust line. So trace out the chest line and also this part as well. Next is to notch the side I'll be attaching to the curvy part. The next step is to place my wording on the side front and the center front. So I'll go ahead and place this one on the side front as shown. You can see the part I notched. So I'll place it as shown to the curvy part. And also this downside, make sure you measure from, go ahead and measure from the line of underbust down. When I measured mine, I had 2.5 plus the ½ inch seam allowance we added to the down part. I'll just mark 3 inches on this pieces. Next step is to place my wording on the center front, and it has to sit on my underbust line. So I'll have to measure from the underbust line to my waistline. Here I have 2.5, including the ½ inch seam allowance that I added to it. Then I'll go ahead and mark 3 inches. So this is where my wording will stop, starting from the chest line. I needed my center front and my center back to have some elements of strength, so I went ahead to iron a stay on it, and I also identified the underbust line as shown. I've placed back my wording on it following the underbust line. The next step is to join it together, the front side facing each other. You can see how I placed it, right? Go ahead and secure it with my pin. Fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray. After securing it with my pin, I'll take it to my sewing machine and join it with half of an inch. So this is it after joining with half of an inch. The next step is to trim it out and notch the side. So here is my lining. I also join it with half of an inch. The same thing I did to the main fabric, I equally did the same thing to my lining. The next step is to trim this part and notch it. So go ahead and do the same thing. Doing this will help your bustier to lay very flat by the time you iron it out. You have to be very careful when you are notching, lest you cut the line you've already sewn. When I'm done with this side I'm working on, I will equally do the same thing to this other side. Then after that, I'll take it to my ironing table and use my tailor's hammer to iron it out. So here is how it looks after I was done giving it a nice press. I went ahead to open it up, this part right, I went ahead to open it up to iron it so it can lay flat. And here is the front, you can see how it looks. The next step is to work on the part I label A. So I'll go ahead and separate it as shown. Then I'll place each of the main fabric on the lining I cut. You have to place it the front side facing each other. I'll go ahead and mark half inch round, but I'll only join my neckline by half of an inch and the keyhole design, the part which is the part I have my keyhole design, with half of an inch as well. This is how it looks after I was done joining. The next step is to trim it out, then notch it so it can lay flat by the time I iron it out. After notching, I'll go ahead and flip it to the right side. Then I'll equally do the same thing to the second one. After that, I'll take them to my ironing table and give them a nice press.
As you fade away, as you fade away, yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time.
So here is how both of them look after I was done ironing them out. The next step is to place both of them in the middle as shown. Make sure you are placing this front to front and it must be in the middle, in the center as shown. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and stitch it down. Note guys, make sure you attach the part that is closer to your armhole as well before you use your lining to cover it up. I did not attach mine before covering it with my lining, so I had to loosen it all over again when I have already gone far. So please make sure you do this first so you save yourself the stress of going through the process I went through all over again. After that, go ahead and secure it round with your pin. You can see how I'm securing mine. Secure the upper part, the side, and even the down part. Make sure you are securing everything with your pin. The next step is to take it to my sewing machine and join this upper part and also the side. I'm not going to join the armhole and the down part. So here is it after I was done joining it together. As you can see, I'm trimming it out. After trimming, I'll go ahead and notch it round. Notching this part is also going to help it to lay flat by the time you are done with ironing. Okay, so go ahead and do the same thing. Notch it round before you flip it to the right side. And to the side, I'm also going to trim it a little before I go ahead and flip it to the right side.
I wake up, I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All the stuff.
So this is what I was trying to explain. This other side here, I was supposed to attach it as well, the same way I attached the one in the middle before I use my lining to cover it up. So don't repeat the mistake I made, okay? The next step is to cut facing for my back top. So I've gone ahead to place it on it. You can see how I place it. So I went ahead to curve it out the way I want. This is like 2.5 inches if you want to know. For those of you that may want to know the wideness of what I use.
But I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my.
This is like 2.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and place it on it as shown. I'll go ahead and place it on it as shown. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and join it with half of an inch.
Start sitting in an ashtray.
This is it after I was done joining it. I went ahead to notch it as well. The next step is to take it to my ironing table and iron it flat. I'll equally do the same thing to this one. Here is it after I was done ironing. The next step is to transfer my dart following this pattern that is labeled basket. So from the shoulder line, I'll come down by 9 inches and marked. Then I'll transfer the leg of my dart and as well the dart intake itself. I'll equally do the same thing to the basket, like the main fabric itself, trying to transfer everything the way it's seated on this basket pattern.
I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay? Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look
So I'll equally do the same thing to the other side. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and hold my darts.
at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this.
Here is how it looks after I was done holding my darts. I also went ahead to iron it out. The next step is to join the upper part and the down part together. So make sure the darts you have on the skirt parts and the one on the top align. Do you understand? So I'll go ahead and secure it around with my pin. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and join it with half of an inch. I'm equally going to do the same thing to the second part. So here is it, guys, after I was done joining both of them together. Next step is to mark out my 1 inch zipper allowance. When I'm done marking it out, I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll join it following that 1 inch line that I just marked. Then after that, I'll go ahead and give it a nice press. The next step is to join my upper front and the skirt parts together. But before then, I'll go ahead and notch the midpoint of the skirt part and the midpoint of this half length, so I can align both of them together following the midpoint. Then I'll use my pin to secure it round. After that, I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll join it with half of an inch.
Place. You wanna love me? Well then baby, I have a taste. All the highs and
After joining the skirt parts to the front half length together with half of an inch, I also went ahead to join my shoulder with half of an inch. So here is how it looks, guys. This is the front part and this other side is the back. Guys, I told you we're supposed to join this part that is closer to the armhole. I'm talking about the one we labeled A. So you're supposed to join it together the same way, the same time you are joining the one in the middle. You're supposed to also join these parts together before you use your lining to cover it up and to sew it round. Okay, so I did not join it then, so this is now the time I will have to loosen it up to fix it inside before I proceed to the next level. So please pay attention to this and don't make this mistake.
the lows. No, you'll never be the same. I don't really
So I'm taking my time here so you see how to join it, but it would have been very easy for you to just join it the same way you join the one in the middle, then just use your lining to cover it up. But I'm still trying to make it a little bit detailed so you understand what I mean based on the way I'm illustrating and also my explanation.
wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be
So when I'm done fixing it, I'll take it to my sewing machine and I'll stitch that place together.
okay, okay. Maybe you could be the
This is what I'll be using for my sleeve. The width of this is 14.5 and the length is 15 inches. So I cut this on fold. You can see it's placed on fold. The next step is to attach my sleeve to my dress. So I'll notch the midpoint, then I'll place it on the shoulder line as shown. I'll go ahead and pleat it, at least to manage it so it will go round. Do you understand? Then I'll equally do the same thing to the second part. And for the down part of my sleeve, I'll be folding it in such a way my elastic band can pass through. So I'll take it to my sewing machine and sew it just the same way I explained. This is how it looks after I was done stitching it together. You can see how it looks, and this part is where I'll be fixing my elastic band. The next step is to shape my dress before I work on the gathers. You can see how I place my dress.
And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to
So I'll just mark this line straight down to my armhole. I'll start shaping my dress with my accurate body measurements. From the shoulder line, I'll come down by 7.1 for my chest line. So on that chest line, I'll mark my bust circumference, which is 8.5. My bust is 34 divided by 4. I have 8.5. So following that zipper line, I'll mark 8.5 as shown.
change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose.
On the waistline, I'll mark 6.5. My waist is 27 divided by 4. I have 6.5. So I'll go ahead and mark 6.5. Then I'll connect the lines as shown. I'll equally do the same thing to this other side.
To stay through all the
First, I'll have to secure it with my pin.
pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away.
I'll go ahead and mark a straight line of half inch just to join my sleeve. From my shoulder line, I'll take my chest measurement, which is 7.1. On that line of 7.1, I'll go ahead and input my bust circumference. My bust is 34 divided by 4. I have 8.5. So I marked 8.5. On my waistline, I marked 6.5. Then I connected the lines together. So I'll take it to my sewing machine and join it following the line I just marked. So here is how it looks after I was done joining it together. The next step is to measure what I have on this my basque effect. So I'll go ahead and measure everything. So go ahead and do the same thing. Measure what you have. Then use it to cut the parts you'll be attaching as gathers. Measure from one end to the other as shown, then times it by 2. For example, when I measured mine, I got 23. 23, I'll have to times it by 2, which is for both the front and the back. That's 46. So I cut times 3 of 46. Do you understand? So I needed to reshape this part just to have this V kind of effect. So I placed my ruler as shown, then I went ahead to mark a straight line.
But I've known you too long, it hurts to.
So you can go ahead and do the same thing, or if you want to maintain the way it was initially, it's optional. I've gone ahead to cut times 3 of what I measured. The next step is to use my hand needle to gather it the way I want. You can decide to apply this method, or you can just run a straight stitch using your machine, then use your hand to pull it in just to achieve the gathered effect. Okay, so I'm actually applying this method. Whichever method that works for you, just go ahead and use it. After doing it, and make sure you're pulling it to get to 46 or whatever you measured. Okay, make sure it's around 46 or 1 inch more, because you are going to open up the zipper allowance and you are going to attach it from one end of the zipper allowance to the other end of the zipper allowance. I don't even understand my explanation. When you are done making your gathers, go ahead and attach it to your dress with half of an inch. So here is how it looks after I was done attaching my gathers to the dress. You can see how it looks. The next step is to fix my elastic band. I'll be using 9 inches for my elastic band, so I'll go ahead and measure 9 inches and I'll cut 2 of it for both sleeve.
Watch your blue eyes.
Then I'll use my safety pin to pass it across. For you to get the accurate measurements for your elastic band, go ahead and measure your round sleeve, like where you want it to sit. Then whatever you have, subtract 1 inch from that and use it to cut your elastic band. When I measured my round sleeve, I got 10, so I cut 9 inches. That is, I subtracted 1 inch from it. So when I'm done inputting my elastic band, I'll take it to my sewing machine and secure it. Okay, I equally do the same thing to the other side. So here is how it looks after I was done attaching my elastic band. You can see we are done with the sleeve. The next step is to fix our zipper. I'll go ahead and join this down part with 1 inch, which is for our zipper. Then my zip is going to stop 1 inch above the basque effect. Okay, so I'll take it to my sewing machine and I will join my zipper together. I'll bring it back for you to see how it looks. So guys, here's the final look of my dress. I'm done attaching my zipper to it. This is the front part of it. Here is how it looks, and I'm going to flip it to the back so you see how it looks as well. Thank you so much for watching till this point. If this tutorial was helpful, please don't forget to give it a like and also subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. See you guys in my next video. Bye.